Hey guys, Kim here, and it is March, so therefore it is Women's History Month. I got a little bit of cool facts here for you guys, some messed up stuff that's happened, and just here to bring light to the awesome women that some people know, some people don't, and some people completely forgot about after they learned about it in school. Some of these you did not learn about in school, and if you did, awesome, because I did not. This is stuff I've had to learn on my own, so there's that. So, first of all, something that hopefully we all learned in school, the 19th Amendment. 19th Amendment, women's right to vote in the United States of America. So, we all know that the U.S. has a tendency to not always do the right thing. And that's not just the U.S., that's everywhere. It takes a lot to get people to realize when they're doing something morally wrong. But, that's just me. I mean, whatever. So, 19th Amendment was passed by Congress on June 4th, 1919, and it was ratified on August 18th of 1920. 1920. That was 100 years ago. 100 years ago, women gained the right to vote. It's not that long ago. Like, not that long at all. Compared to our entire short-lived American history, 100 years is not that long. We've been through a lot in these last 100 years, but it was not that long ago. So, some amazing women were around, and they did some amazing things before they even had the right to vote. Some of these women weren't even citizens, and they did amazing things. And I think that's awesome. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. So one of the first women I want to talk about that hopefully you learned about in school is Sacagawea. Now, I hope I said that right. That's how I was taught to say it. If not, I do apologize, and please feel free to correct me. So, between the ages of 11 and 13, she was kidnapped and then sold to a French-Canadian man and forced to marry him. He was 41 years old. 41. And forced an 11 to 13-year-old to marry him. Think about that, guys. Think about that now in this day and age. Someone comes up to you and says, I want to marry your 12-year-old daughter. 41-year-old man wants to marry your 12-year-old daughter. What? 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 Doesn't make sense. Whatever. Anyways, so hopefully you all know that she was crucial in the Lewis and Clark expedition. Now, those of you who don't know, Lewis and Clark made it all the way to the Pacific Ocean, whatever. But I'm not here to talk about them. I want to talk to you about Sacagawea. She was awesome. Not only did she interpret for these people, guide these people, help them out, she was the only woman on the entire expedition that was full of men. 32 men. Not the only woman. The whole time, she carried her infant son on her back. Well, I'm sure not always on her back. I'm sure he came off her back. But she carried her infant son. And now I'm not talking like, yeah, he was an infant. 55 days old, I do believe, when she started on the expedition. 2 months. 2 months old. Started on the expedition. Freaking nuts. And then, Lewis and Clark. Okay. She wasn't even on the payroll, guys. She wasn't even on the payroll. She didn't get no money for this. No, her husband did. Her husband got like $530 something and 320 acres of land in Missouri. What'd she get? Nothing. Nothing. Lewis and Clark referenced, like, they wrote about her a lot. Most of the time it says the Indian woman. The Indian woman. You wouldn't have made it this far without that Indian woman. Oh, God. It's annoying. Anyways. So that's Sacagawea. Awesome chick. Lewis and Clark couldn't have done without her. And I don't care what you say. Truth. Now, Elizabeth Blacknell. She was the first woman MD. Okay? Now, that's not to say women haven't been practicing physicians and healers and stuff like that all throughout the ages, because they have. They always have. But, men took over, of course, and then made it illegal to practice without going to college, which I don't want my doctor working on me without going to college. But back in the day, what they practiced was not like it is today. Like, men practicing back then. Ugh. Okay. Anyways, it wasn't any better than a woman giving you some herbal tea and saying this will make you better. Like, it took a bit for the science of medical medicine actually being good. But anyways, Elizabeth Blacknell, she became the first woman MD in 1849, which is pretty crazy. So she became a doctor before she was even allowed to vote. How about that? Pretty crazy. Anyways, she ended up graduating at the top of her class. So not only did she graduate, she graduated top of her class. How about that? And then in 1868, she opened up the Women's Medical College to help more women get their degree and become doctors, even before they could vote. How about that? Anyways. Blah. Mary Phelps. Didn't know about this, but she invented the bra. Yeah, invented the bra. Keep them boobies up. Anyways, 1913, she didn't like the corset that she was wearing, I guess. Made her outer clothes look funny. So she sewed up 2 handkerchiefs together with the ribbons and made a bra. So, thank you. Because I am not a corset person. And if that's still all we had today, whew, no, not doing it. Now, here's a good one. Margaret Sanger. I think that's how you say her last name. Pretty sure. Anyways, I'm sure a lot of you know who she is. I didn't for a long time. I did not learn about her in school at all. Nothing. As far as I can remember. I did not learn about her in school. But she opened up the first birth control clinic in 1916. Before she had the right to vote. Yeah. So she opened up the first birth control clinic. And then in 1921, she founded the American Birth Control League. And that later turned into what we all know as Planned Parenthood Federation of America. So yeah, we all should know about her because lifesaver. Literally lifesaver. Without Planned Parenthood, I don't even want to know where women in America would be today, because she's a lifesaver. Anyways, this has been going on quite some time. So, one more thing. So we all know that with World War I and World War II, women had to work in factories. Why? Because all the men were over there in the war. So women had to stay back here, keep the factories running, keep them going, make sure the men had what they needed. And guess what? Come to find out, women can keep the factories running just as well as men. Who'd have thought? Not me. Didn't know. No clue. Anyways, so after the wars ended, women didn't want to go back to being in the kitchen and making a sandwich. No, they didn't. They wanted to keep working. So, by the time the 50s rolled around, there was huge backlash. Then all of a sudden, all these advertisers and freaking media and all that in the 50s decided to put an emphasis on traditional roles after the wars ended. They wanted women to go back to the kitchen. Let's not go back to the 50s, people. Even if you do just want to stay in the kitchen and make a sandwich for your husband or wife, whichever, then that should be your choice. Your choice. And let's keep it that way. Let's keep this going. Yeah? Let's keep being great women everywhere. I don't know. Whatever. Do you. Invent something cool. Don't invent something cool. Work in a male-dominated field. I do. Male-dominated field. My whole life. Always. Still here. Still kicking. Still making money. So, let's keep being great. And thanks for watching. Subscribe below.